Welcome, trainers! I've decided to complete every Pokémon game to its fullest. This video is part 1 of completing Pokémon Y. To understand what we've done so far, check out the 3 videos in the description. As the video goes on, I will explain what 100% completion means to me in this generation. We picked up the adventure with Y, the protagonist of my Professor Oak challenge. In that challenge, we caught every available Pokémon in Pokémon Y. We also finished the main story, reached Kilut City, battled our rival one last time, and upgraded the Mega Ring. With all that explained, let's dive into the post-game content. The next visit to Lumiose City triggered a holoclip. A mysterious man invited us to visit him at the Looker Bureau. This began a post-game storyline divided into 6 chapters. In Chapter 1, we meet Looker, a detective who wanted our help. After all, we were the champion and had defeated Team Flare. To test our worth, he gave us a challenge. Find 5 hidden tickets scattered across Lumiose City. Once we found them all the first chapter came to a close. In Chapter 2, we were sent to investigate a shady back alley where a group of children gathered. After defeating them, we meet Emma, an orphan, and her poor friend named Mimi. Looker decided to take Emma in as her assistant, but Mimi ran away. After we found her, Emma agreed to stay and work with Looker. Chapter 3 revealed Mimi's mysterious powers. Thanks to them, we were sent to recover a stolen Pokémon. At Lumiose Station, we found and battled the thieves. Looker got there first, but couldn't fight. He didn't have any Pokémon. After we defeated the gang, we discovered that Emma had been involved. The stolen Pokémon were returned, but something was clearly wrong. In Chapter 4, things escalated. Looker grew more worried about Emma. Someone had vandalized the painting in the museum. Then, a holoclip warned us that Pokémon were being stolen in the back alleys. Looker organized a sting operation and discovered the culprit, a person in a robotic suit. We chased them down twice. Eventually, thanks to Mimi, we learned the shocking truth. It was Emma. She had been brainwashed and was now going by the name Essentia. Looker ended up hospitalized, and when we found Emma again, she had no memory of what had happened. Before we could leave, a butler challenged us and revealed he was a former Team Flare admin. He invited us to meet his boss. In Chapter 5, we met Malva, the Fire-type Elite Four member. After defeating her, she told us about the robotic suit and its creator, Dr. Jerosic, a scientist formerly with Team Flare. She sent us to Lysandre Cafe. There, we unlocked a secret floor, battled several trainers, and the Lumiose gang again, and uncovered more information about the suit. We eventually confronted Jerosic. He tested Essentia against us in 3 more battles. After the final fight, Looker and Mimi arrived. We defeated Emma one last time, and Jerosic finally deactivated the suit. In the final chapter, Looker revealed that he was part of the international police. He left Kalos to continue his mission elsewhere, leaving the Looker Bureau in Emma and Mimi's care. Emma tried to find him, and eventually meet with him again at Lysandre Cafe, where he was speaking with Jerosic. Emma received the suit and Jerosic's Pokémon, bringing the story to a close. What an emotional and unexpected journey this game had tucked away in its post-game. I've done my best to summarize it, but if you never play it yourself, I highly encourage you to experience it firsthand. To fully complete the game, I also decided to finish all the Super Training and Secret Super Training regiments, at least with one Pokémon. Lucario was the chosen one, since we started using him during the Professor Oak challenge to grab some evolution stones. I also completed all the Pokémon Ami minigames, earning 5 stars in each. The puzzle one was surprisingly hard. With that done, it was time to start trading Pokémon from our Pokémon X playthrough. First, I caught several Pokémon specifically for trading. Then, the trades began. This included version exclusives from X, starters like Charmander, and legendaries such as Moltres. I also made sure to trade for Mewtwo and Zygarde, just in case they are needed later for future playthroughs. During this phase, I picked up a few useful items through trading as well. Once that was done, it was time to breed and evolve the necessary Pokémon to continue building the living decks. While double-checking everything, I discovered something shocking. We hadn't caught Bidoof during the Professor Oak challenge, one of the very first Pokémon you are supposed to catch and train in that challenge. Completely missed, a major oversight. I quickly caught 2 Bidoof and trained one until it evolved into Bibarel. Crisis averted! At this point, you'll notice that I mixed several different things together. For example, I started something completely new, breeding competitive Pokémon for battles at the Battle Maison. To help with that, I'll include a very useful guide in the description. But to summarize, we began with baby Pokémon, since they always have 3 perfect IVs. In my case, I used Azurials, which I evolved to Marill. Once I had several Marill with different combinations of perfect IVs, I began breeding them with the goal of creating 2 specialized Marill, one focused on attack and one other focused on special attack. What I didn't expect was to end up with a perfect 6 IV Marill, and a male one too. As you can imagine, this process took a lot of time, countless eggs, and plenty of roaming around to hatch them. Once you have a perfect IV male Pokémon, you can use the egg group mechanic to breed other perfect Pokémon. You'll see examples of this in the video with Axew and SergiBit. Thanks to those 3 Pokémon, I was able to breed 4 more with at least 5 perfect IVs each. To choose which Pokémon to focus on, I followed another helpful guide, which I'll also link in the description. That guide helped me select the right natures, plan proper EV distributions, and determine when a Pokémon needs its hidden ability or a Mega Stone. Speaking of hidden abilities, I have to admit, since the Friend Safari isn't available in this version, and it was the only way to obtain certain hidden abilities, I decided to use PKSM to bring in a Dragonite from an event. I did the same with Greninja, so he could have the Protean ability. With the breeding done, I used vitamins and some power items from the battle Maison to EV train at least 3 of the 4 Pokémon. Since we'd need more money later on, the best option was to train all 3 up to level 50 by battling at the battle Chateau. At this stage, my goal was to focus on super single battles, not only to rack up a lot of BP for items and TMs, but also to test strategies using this near-perfect Pokémon. One of the Pokémon I chose was Kangaskhan, whom I named Roger, and to fully unlock his competitive potential, I needed his Mega Stone. That's when I realized I hadn't transferred any of the Mega Stones from Pokémon X to this game. So, guess what come next? Yep, more trading. At this point, I went in with Roger the Kangaskhan, Shikamaru the Greninja, and Alduin the Dragonite to start earning some BP. What I didn't expect was, first of all, just how incredibly powerful Mega Kangaskhan really is. Roger alone handled most trainers with ease. His Mega ability proved to be insanely effective in single battles like this. What also caught me off guard was how what started as a simple BP grind ended up taking me all the way to the final 10 battles. These matches were noticeably tougher, filled with legendaries and high-level strategies. Still, this team pulled through and secured a 50-win streak, even though that wasn't my original goal. The game rewards you with a statue for reaching 50 wins, and for my purposes, that's more than enough to satisfy the completionist side of me. So with that, these 3 Pokémon earn us our first big title, and also a great amount of BP to spend. With the hype from the first victory, I jumped straight into training a 4th Pokémon so we could take on the Super Double battles and aim for the second statue. Our newest team member was Batosai the Scizor. This time though, things weren't so easy. I lost twice. One of those losses came painfully close to the end of the streak. After some trial and error and a lot of thinking about the best move combinations and team order, we finally pulled through and won the 50th battle, earning the second battle Maison statue. Unlike before, I wasn't as hyped to keep pushing forward. These battles take a while. Between the intros, healing sequences, and the fights themselves, getting through 50 matches is a real-time commitment. That's where we are hitting pause on the battle Maison for now. But no worries, we'll absolutely come back to wrap it up. After all the battling, we finally had enough BP to collect all 100 TMs, another must-have for me as a completionist. Of course, we'll have to get creative in future games where TMs aren't reusable, but for now, this is a big milestone. Speaking of items, I also finally grabbed all the Mega Stones available in this game. Up until now, we only had the ones from the Pokémon X playthrough. With this done, we can now use every Mega Evolution available in Pokémon X and Y. And one last thing, this also proves that we've maxed out our style in Lumiose City. These items are only available at a lower price when you have reached the highest style level. So the purchase is a nice way to show that off too. One last thing I want to tackle in terms of battling was earning a perfect score in all the restaurant challenges. In case you are not familiar with them, you have to win every battle within a set number of turns and keep your entire team alive to get a perfect score. For these battles, I decided to use the trio of Pokémon that helped me the most during the Professor Oak challenge playthrough. As you'll see in the video, a star next to the challenge means we've achieved a perfect score. Even though we were a bit over-leveled, some AI teams were clearly designed to trip you up with tactics like Fly, Protect, Dig, Trick Room and more. Some battles were straightforward, but others were genuinely tough and a bit frustrating. If you decide to take this on yourself, I highly recommend having Taunt and Protect on your team. They were incredibly helpful, especially in the harder matches. With that, we've officially completed all 4 restaurant challenges. To wrap up this part of the journey, I decided to complete the Kalos Pokédex. At this point, the only Pokémon we were missing were the Squirtle line and Articuno. Since we already did a run on this channel where we caught several Articuno and one of those playthroughs also featured a Squirtle, I chose to transfer them into this game using PKSM. In case you are not aware, you can use the Poketransporter or Pokebank with the Virtual Console games unless you are transferring to Gen 7 titles. Honestly, it's a pretty frustrating limitation, so I went ahead and used PKSM again to get around it. After breeding 2 Squirtle and training our Turtle, we finally completed the Kalos Pokédex, but the celebration didn't last long. Once again, I discovered I had been missing a Pokémon this whole time. During the Pokémon X playthrough, I forgot to trade over the fossil Pokémon. After realizing the mistake, I quickly traded a Tyrant, bred one, and evolved the other into Tyrantrum. This time, we truly completed the Kalos Pokédex. Professor Sycamore rewards us with the Oval Charm, and we even got a special message from Nurse Joy from earning the Gold Trainer ID. Now, I know Pokémon X and Y aren't everyone's favorites, but I've been having a ton of fun completing this game. There's still plenty left to do, like finishing the Battle Maison statues, completing the National Dex, and diving into more post-game adventures. And I hope you'll join me for all of it. Thanks so much for watching part 1. If you made it to the end, I just want to say a huge thank you. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. I'll see you in part 2, and until then, keep training!